because of the calf injury.
bro. It ain't a hammy, it's a calf.
No, my hand.
Oh, your hammy.
Russell Wilson, he's got a calf. We're in the training room, something you've never seen before on TV. I got to ask you this one, and Chase, I got to ask you first. Can Russell Wilson can he afford to continue missing time knowing that his legacy to some degree is on the line?
I don't think he's cared about his legacy right now. I think he's worried about getting healthy. I mean, his right calf hurt. He's been hurt, like you mentioned earlier in the show, many years, like the thumb, everything like that. And when you go as a quarterback and you try to put yourself out there and you try to drop back and you try to be what Russell Wilson is, with a calf injury, it's impossible, guys. Okay, look, I'm in the pocket right now. He looks like a shell of himself. Like when I saw him even in the preseason game for the Detroit Lions, he's sitting in the pocket, he's able to move laterally. That's not Russell Wilson's game. I want you to move up in the pocket. I need you to get out of the pocket. Russell Wilson is not some savant at pocket passing, right? That's not his game. He can do it. But in Seattle, when we talk about him winning championships and getting the Super Bowls and stuff, he is 1, 2, 3. He's looking at the first read, and then he's out.
Yeah.
And then they're practicing what you guys did in Green Bay so well, these scramble drills, right? So they got these scramble rules. Well, guess what? They got those scramble rules with Justin Fields, too. So Russell Wilson, and I like the idea that Mike Tomlin, he is protecting Russell from himself. Because I bet Russell wants to go out there, but if you go out there, Russell, and you're not 100% and you play bad, they're not going to blame it on the injured calf. They're going to say you're washed up, it's time to go, you need to leave. So in my opinion, Russell Wilson, just take your time. But you can't take too much time because if Justin Fields goes 4-0 like we were talking, he might have the job.
2-5, you rolling your eyes when Chase said that. Can Russ afford to take his time?
We in the training room?
We're in the training room.
We're gonna give a lot of medication in
That's
here.
where Russ at.
You got a lot of medication in you?
No, I'm good.
Okay,
I got coffee.
What's the question? I'm sorry.
Can Russ afford to take his time?
Yeah, he can, right? I think the best thing is be available, right? One thing that Mike Tomlin said is Russell Wilson's hurt. He's not available for us.
Ain't available.
So we can't see how good he really is or how well he'll really do it until he's 100% healthy. And then right now, like the way they're playing, they have, 3-4 games that's not as good opponents, right? I think they got the Broncos next where you don't need Russ to win that game. Get the defense out there, Russ, and then Justin Fields to make some plays with his feet. I just think get healthy, right? We can't have no conversation until you're healthy. And then once he's healthy, I think he'll have his job back because he's the better quarterback. And I don't think that Justin Fields do anything to keep the job from him.
Now, you all brought up a good point that I don't know the viewers know of necessarily, in that we do not grade you based upon your level of health. If you step on the field, you on the football field.
That's your tape.
We talk all the time. In 2022, Aaron Rodgers struggled. But, Chase, you remind us, and James, you remind us, Rodgers had a thumb injury. We don't care.
No, not at all.
You was out there. That's how we will grade you. If Russ goes out there and he does struggle, that will be even worse for him, James, than not going out there at all. But what you think?
No doubt. At the Packers and the Raiders, in the training room, we had a sign that said availability
is the best ability.
Is the best ability, right? Which means get your butt up out of here as fast as you can, right? But get your butt up out of here healthy, right? Because when you go out there and you put bad tape on the football field, they're not going to say, man, it's because he's healthy. Russ, you can't afford that. You're not making $40 million from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They don't care nothing about that. If you're making $40 million from the Pittsburgh Steelers, they might say, hey, man, you know what I mean? We need to come out here and play with these injuries, and it don't matter how you look because you're making all that money. You're not making a lot of money, and you're still in a quarterback competition. You have to go out here and play well. Russell Wilson is a thin line because you don't want to rush back and put bad tape out there. But you don't want to sit out too long and let Justin Fields continue to keep winning games. I was in this situation that Russell Wilson was in. I was banged up, and I had Randall Cobb, and I had Jordy Nelson.
Oh, they're good players, though. They're really, really good players.
Right on my heels. And I knew, though, you shouldn't be out here, dog. You ain't here. But I knew I can't give them young boys opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
They are good.
Because I'm going to be out of the lineup. So I went out there, and I played through the injuries. Did I play average? I played average, but I wasn't myself. So, but my thing is, if you can't be yourself and play at a high level, don't go out there.
Why you say you're in the same position as Russ? I'm confused.
Because you have a
He's trying to say Justin Fields.
I know what he's trying to say.
Don't let him,
you have
don't
a quarterback that just won a game and did not play bad. And if this quarterback wins multiple games and he's sitting at 3-0 or 4-0, I don't know how you make
How big a deal? Because right now we're just talking about it to some degree casually, but for the state of Russell Wilson's legacy, there is no more important game than the next game. If Justin Fields does do something which we haven't seen before, to Shady's point, if he does do something and a switch does flip and Russell Wilson does not end up starting this year in Pittsburgh for a plethora of games, even if not the whole season, say 10 games, Russell Wilson, who was supposed to be a Hall of Famer, now he's on the outside in my mind. You leave Seattle, you leave Pete Carroll, you struggle in Denver. You leave Denver, you don't start the season in Pittsburgh. How much does this impact how we think about Russell Wilson in years to come, who was one of the best quarterbacks in the generation?
Well, I mean, he's got his championship, right? So, like, I think at the end of the day,
10 Pro Bowls.
I think he's a Hall of Famer. Like, I don't know if he's the first ballot. You got your Pro Bowls, you got your Super Bowl. So I think people will look back on it maybe 2 or 3 years from now if they say this is his last year, and they're going to say, hey, look how bad Russ played down the stretch. And you even mentioned it. He played pretty well last year in Denver down the stretch. He was 26 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But if he goes out there and is not able to play and it affects his legacy, because he's a legacy guy, he cares about it.
Yeah.
He cares about it, right? Like, that's just who he is. And I like that. We all care about our legacy. I don't think it'll have any stretch of imagination worry about who Russell Wilson is legacy-wise from a football standpoint.
But what about the whole people and everybody who said it was always the defense? Shady, you know them players. Everybody said it was always Richard Sherman, it was always Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Michael Bennett. What about that squad? Because Russ, to their point, has never succeeded since they left. Even like we talked about with Josh Allen. Everybody left in Buffalo. They still won a game. We don't know what kind of success it will mean long term, but everybody left. Tyreek Hill left. Patty still won another chip. Tom Brady left the Patriots. Forget all the Patriots leaving. He left. Shady knows firsthand. They won another Super Bowl. What about the fact that as soon as Russ lost the Legion, he hasn't had any playoff success?
I mean, your stats are your stats, right? Your success is your success. I don't see people talking about Belichick where you didn't win nothing without Tom Brady. Right, without Tom Brady, you're an average coach. I don't hear people talking about that, right? Before you got to the Patriots, you was average 5 seasons with the Browns. You had 1 good year.
Average.
Nobody talks about that, right? And I mean, I don't think he's the greatest coach of all time, but nobody talks about these things. So, for Russ' case, I think it's the same thing. Like, hey, he might not have had the success outside of the Legion of Boom and all that, but who cares about that, right? What he did out there in the field is what he did.
Lastly, we didn't see Christian McCaffrey suit up on Monday night versus the Jets. But a backup running back, 150-plus yards in that dominant performance.
That's crazy, bro.
Kyle Shanahan said McCaffrey, like Russell Wilson, dealing with the calf and an Achilles injury. Shady, you're a running back. You didn't really get injured much, but you do know what it's like to have to play through different types of pain. Can the Niners afford to take their time?
For the record, in the training room,
Quick little conversation.
Get on out.
I don't think it really matters, though. I think he can take his time and rest. That's how good Kyle Shanahan is, right? He wins with anybody. Frank Gore, one of my best friends, I hit him, I'm like, yo, you think it's going to matter that much that CMC's not playing? He said, in caps, no. Because no matter who the running back is, even before Christian got there, the running game was really, really good. McCaffrey made it a great type of running game, but before that, it was really, really good. And he runs the ball with first-rounders, he runs the ball with seven-rounders, undrafted dudes, it don't matter. If you look at the schemes they did against the Jets, right, they were getting bullied, but all that, they was getting out-schemed, and I said it don't really matter.
I don't think he needs to rush back.
No,
I think that there's too big of an injury. He's too big of a player. He means too much. But, you know, you talk about running backs. I talk about Brock Purdy. How much this is going to put him at the forefront of people's minds, including he's up for a new contract next year. So if you can do it without CMC, I'm just telling you right now.
Did you just see how they ran the air out the ball?
I'm talking about right now, down the stretch, people are going to start, okay, we need to stop the run. Brock Purdy is going to end up making more than Dak Prescott next year if he has a year he had last year.
You don't think
puts the market.
That's just the market, though.
But it puts the spotlight specifically on Brock Purdy.
You run the ball. This is the thing about the quarterback. See, and I love he brought that up because they're going to hype up how great Brock Purdy is. He's a good quarterback. But when you run the ball that well, that easy, every pass you want in the world is going to be open, and you know that.
And not only that, even with every pass open, he had 0 touchdown passes.
Played really well, though.
In week 1. So it ain't like he played. They ran the air out of the football. CMC is totally fine. The goal for the San Francisco 49ers is to win a Super Bowl. That's right. This is a totally different situation than the Russell Wilson situation. Number one, I'm the highest paid running back in football. Thank God you went out there and played well.
Yeah.
Let me rest up and really,
Hey, good job. Hey, good job.
and really
Good
get
job,
100% because this ain't no running back competition. Nothing.
Yeah.
When I'm ready and I tell Kyle Shanahan, I feel good today.
Yeah.
You are trotting out there as running back number 1. It ain't nothing to be said. And the question Kyle Shanahan gonna ask, how many touches can I give you? That's it. So listen, the goal is Super Bowl. Sit back, relax. All right. Get your work done in the training room.
Purdy would have
get
had a
yourself
touchdown
happy.
if Ayuk didn't drop that, man. What's up with that? Come on, man.
Fifth.
But, hey, you're a receiver.
Hey, we got
You're a
a team meeting to
receiver.
get to, y'all. Look, when we return, it's time for a Cowboys team meeting. They won their first game in dominant fashion, but should we believe